ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਸਿਹਤ ਕਾਮਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਨਸਲੀ ਭੇਦਭਾਵ ਵਰਗਾ ਵਤੀਰਾ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਇਲਜ਼ਾਮ ਲੱਗੇ ਨੇ। ਦਰਅਸਲ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ 'ਚ ਐਮਰਜੈਂਸੀ ਰੂਮ ਸਟਾਫ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਅਜਿਹੀ ਖੇਡ ਖੇਡੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸ ਇਜ਼ ਰਾਈਟ ਦੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਖੇਡਿਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਮੂਲ ਨਿਵਾਸੀ ਮਰੀਜ਼ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਖੂਨ 'ਚ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਦੀ ਮਾਤਰਾ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਇਹ ਖੇਡ ਖੇਡੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ, ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਖੁਲਾਸਾ ਮੂਲ ਨਿਵਾਸੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਸੱਭਿਆਚਾਰਕ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਅਤ ਰੱਖਣ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜੋ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਇਆ, ਜਿਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ ਦੇ ਸਿਹਤ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਏਡਰੀਅਨ ਡਿਕਸ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਤਾਜ਼ਾ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀਰਵਾਰ ਦੀ ਰਾਤ ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਕੱਲ ਰਾਤ ਹੀ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਐਮਰਜੈਂਸੀ ਰੂਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਟਾਫ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੁਝ ਅਜਿਹੀ ਖੇਡ ਖੇਡੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਅਜਿਹਾ ਵਤੀਰਾ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਵੀ ਬਰਦਾਸ਼ਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਜਾਂਚ ਖੋਲ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਪੁੱਛੇ ਜਾਣ ਤੇ ਕਿ ਆਖਿਰ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਦੇਰ ਤੋਂ ਅਜਿਹੀ ਖੇਡ ਖੇਡੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ, ਕਿੰਨੇ ਕੁ ਸਿਹਤ ਕਾਮੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਸਿਹਤ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਏਡਰੀਅਨ ਡਿਕਸ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੱਲ ਰਾਤ ਹੀ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਜਾਂਚ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਸਾਫ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਆਖਿਰ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਚਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਕੁਝ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਾਂਚ ਖੋਲ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਜਾਂਚ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਅੱਗੇ ਹੋਰ ਉਹ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹੋ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਨਸਲੀ ਟਿੱਪਣੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਨਸਲੀ ਭੇਦਭਾਵ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕਦਮ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਵੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਵੱਖੋ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਭਾਈਚਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੋ ਇਸ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਦਾ ਸਾਹਮਣਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੁਰਾ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ। ਹੁਣ ਸਿਹਤ ਵਿਭਾਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੂਲ ਨਿਵਾਸੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨਸਲੀ ਭੇਦਭਾਵ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧਿਤ ਜਾਂਚ ਖੋਲ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਜੋ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਖੋ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਹਸਪਤਾਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਐਮਰਜੈਂਸੀ ਵਿਭਾਗਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇਗੀ।
Good morning, my name is Adrian Dix. I'm BC's Minister of Health. Last night, I was made aware of serious allegations of racist and abhorrent practices in an emergency room or emergency rooms in British Columbia. If confirmed, the conduct is beyond unacceptable. The allegation is that a game was being played to guess the blood alcohol level of patients in the ER, in particular Indigenous people, and perhaps others. If true, it is intolerable, unacceptable, and racist. And its effect on patient care is intolerable, unacceptable, and racist. I have appointed Mary Ellen Turpel-Lafont, an outstanding British Columbian, to investigate the facts of this issue and make recommendations about immediate and long-term next steps. Ms. Turpel-Lafont, as you know, is the former child representative in BC, an outstanding lawyer and former provincial court judge in Saskatchewan. She will follow the facts wherever they lead, and that is my expectation. As you know, I will also be reaching out to Indigenous leaders in British Columbia, especially in healthcare, the First Nations Health Council, the First Nations Health Authority, the First Nations representative on the boards of health authorities, and many more, as we address the fundamental issues that are involved. For a number of years, we've been working together collaboratively, all the partners in healthcare, to pursue cultural safety in our healthcare system, cultural safety and humility in our healthcare system and in the practices of that system. That work is more important than ever. It is fundamental to what we need to do together. And we must continue those efforts, expand those efforts, and work on those efforts. But with respect to these practices and these actions, action is required. It's why, having learned about it last night, I've appointed Mary Ellen Turpel-Lafont. It's why we need to continue to take action on these matters today to determine both the remedies required and the reconciliation required to go forward. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to take your questions.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. As a reminder, press *1 to queue for questions. There will be one question and one follow-up. The first question is from Richard Zussman of Global News. Please go ahead.
Minister, the phone line cut off. I don't know how much of your beginning, so I don't know if you provided these details, but I'm just curious if we know how long these incidents took place for, where they took place, how widespread this is, and whether any doctors or nurses that are involved have been suspended, fired, or put on leave.
Well, these issues came to my attention last night. So on the former points, I think the answer, on the latter points, the answer is no. But these issues came to my attention. They're serious allegations. They obviously need to be investigated so that we determine the extent of them. And that's what Mary-Ellen Turpel-Lafont will do. But it also requires recommendations, remedies, and reconciliation going forward. And I'll be seeking, obviously, her recommendations and advice and others as to the next steps. I think, I don't know if you were, if you heard some of the details of what the allegations are. They involve a game being played, guessing the blood alcohol level of patients in the ER, in particular Indigenous patients, and the obvious effect of such games being played on patient care. And so it's, of course, important to determine the facts, but it's also important to work together to take action and to move forward. That's why we need, as I say, these issues were brought to my attention last night. All of those facts have not been determined, but there is sufficient information to require this investigation. And that's why I've asked Mary-Ellen Turpel-Lafont to work on to go through to establish the facts, and also for us to immediately engage in a process of engaging in remedies and reconciliation on these questions. Because should these practices be confirmed, they are unacceptable and racist.
Thank you. The next question is from Justine Hunter, Globe and Mail. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Minister. And like Richard, I didn't hear the first part, so I don't know if you've identified if this was one particular hospital or not. So if you could clarify that, that would be great. Also, I mean, there have been reports of systemic racism in Canadian health care for years, and I'm wondering if you regard this as a one-off situation, if this in fact happened, or whether you recognize a larger issue that needs to be addressed here.
There is absolutely a larger issue that needs to be addressed. That's why we're engaged together in a path that to pursue in practices in healthcare, cultural safety and humility. Absolutely there is. And I have, since becoming Minister of Health, regularly met with Indigenous communities, the communities around BC, and issues like this have been raised. I think these issues are, the particular issues are so significantly serious that they require an investigation by someone of Ms. Turpel-Lafont's stature and authority, and I think that's important. And we have to continue to do this work because it is beyond dispute that there is people have suffered in our province from systemic racism in many fields, and healthcare is one of those.
Okay, but we still.
Thank you, Justine. Do you have a follow-up?
Oh,
Yeah,
and I apologize, Justine. With respect, maybe what I'll just say is what I said at the beginning, because you were cut off. That last night I was made aware of serious allegations of racist and completely abhorrent practices in an emergency room or emergency rooms in BC. If confirmed, the conduct is beyond unacceptable. The allegation is that a game is being played to guess the blood alcohol level of patients in the emergency rooms, in particular with Indigenous people and perhaps others. And if true, it's intolerable, unacceptable, and racist, and of course, affected profoundly patient care. So this requires, in my view, an immediate response. I found out about it last night. I was in touch with, obviously, with senior officials of the Ministry of Health. I contacted, and others, I contacted Mary-Ellen Turpel-Lafont and asked her to lead the investigation and of this issue. I think she has both the credibility and she has the credibility to do that, and will do an excellent job. And as well, we need to engage with the First Nations Health Council, with First Nations leadership on this question as well. I consider these allegations very serious. Of course, we have to assess the facts, and that requires an investigation to take place, but we also have to see action.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from Camille Baines of Canadian Press. Your line is open. Please go ahead.
Good morning. I'd like to know how you were made aware of this game that was going on. by whom? And have you given Ms. Turpel-Lafond some kind of a timeline to prepare a report?
Well, Ms. Turpel-Lafond will be starting immediately, as in Monday, I believe, and obviously there are both immediate and longer-term steps that can be taken, but she has to assess the facts and take the time that she needs to assemble those and make recommendations. But obviously, I believe there's urgency here, and that's why we've acted in this way. With respect to who informed me of this, I was informed of this by the Deputy Minister of Health, Steve Brown.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਮਾਨ ਊੜਾ ਡੈਟ ਸੈਟਲਮੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ। ਇਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਟੀਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ। ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਭਰਪੂਰ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਦੇਖਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਟੀਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਚੈਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੇਠ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਹੋਏ ਬੈਲ ਆਈਕਨ ਦੇ ਬਟਨ ਦਬਾਓ। ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।